Alright, quick TA update on JASMY. In this video, we're going to be looking at how JASMY is performing against the US dollar, talk about how our previous predictions are panning out from the last couple of videos. We're then going to be moving on to how JASMY is performing against Bitcoin and wrapping up with the Bitcoin dominance and talking about how this is likely to affect JASMY's performance against Bitcoin. With all that said, let's jump into today's video. So, it's been a couple of days or so, or it's maybe been a week or so since I made my last Axie prediction. In the last prediction, we were basically hovering, lollygagging, capitulating, sideways trending within this asymmetrical triangle. We were trending within a pretty crazy range, but nonetheless, we were kind of just chopping around, and we have finally started to have that breakout. Now, I did update, once we were around this range, and I was saying, in my opinion, we're coming down about another 28.5% before we do start to, have any sort of a bounce. And I will talk about the likelihood of bounce towards the latter half of this video. I don't think that's what we should be focusing on, but as of right now, the micro prediction, we're down 13%, which is great. This is kind of what we were predicting, and the macro prediction that we were predicting, when we were halfway within this asymmetrical triangle, I saw us break to the top, I saw us crash into the daily EMA ribbons, I saw us break back down, get invalidated multiple times below the 13 EMA, and this is when we basically made this prediction that we were going to drop all the way down 35%, and as of right now we're down 21.5%, so both of our predictions seem to be panning out pretty well. I'm actually going to delete this smaller term prediction because this is still the same price target as my previous higher time frame prediction, so I'm just going to keep it how it is. Now, we are seeing a very nice increase in bearish volume over on JASMY, and while we're seeing this increase in bearish volume, we're seeing an increase in bearish momentum on the squeeze one. This is our momentum indicator if you're new to the channel. First of all, warm welcome if you are new to the channel. This is the squeeze bomb. I prefer to use this over the MACD like other channels, but this is your momentum indicator. When this trickles over into the light red, this is indicative that we're about to enter a bearish phase, just like we did here. You can see massive trickle over into the light red. What was happening while we were trickling into light red? Well, we were just getting done failing this W pattern. We trickled over into light red right here, came up to the EMA ribbons, and bada bing, bada boom, massive momentum shift to the downside. And at this moment in time, we're sitting at basically the origin of a new bearish trend. Like, we're literally just starting out with 3 light red candles, and while we're seeing this, bearish volume is massively increasing. We've got tons more bearish signals than the last time we had this bearish capitulation. So for example, here we had a trend shift over into the light red and we capitulated 35%, but you can see this was predominantly because of the momentum shift, because we were getting rejected from EMA ribbons, getting rejected from, well, the 13 EMA is a moving average anyway. We were basically getting battered against everything that we needed to hold. We didn't have a plethora of volume stepping in though, and we did not have exponential volume stepping in. At this moment in time, we have exponential bearish volume coming into the market. So at this moment in time, I do think, unfortunately, that my initial, well, obviously we're taking it one step at a time. I never said this was going to be the bottom anyway, but I do think this is going to be too much of a conservative target. I do think JASMY is going to go much lower than this, and specifically, why do I think JASMY is going to go lower than 20%? Let me explain. If we come over to Bitcoin, I'm not going to jump into all the reasons why I think Bitcoin's going down to the 200 week. If you want my opinions on Bitcoin, I definitely recommend you go check out my Bitcoin videos. I'm mainly a Bitcoin centric channel. I make Bitcoin videos every day. I fill in on these altcoins every other day or so. But nonetheless, we're down, well, I think we're going to break down another 17.6%. So let's just make it easy and call it 20%. We'll just round down. If I think Bitcoin is going to break down 20%, or once again, let's say 18, because this is the drop that we've got over here, then that would mean that if Bitcoin drops that amount and Axie drops this amount as well, then Axie would be break even, or sorry, JASMY would be break even against Bitcoin. And how has JASMY been holding up against Bitcoin? Well, if we do come over to how JASMY is performing against Bitcoin, I really don't need to draw TA on this. I don't need to draw trend lines. I don't need to draw moving averages or anything. I think the chart speaks for itself. We're 95% down against Bitcoin since November of the 22nd of November 2021. At some point, I am going to start doing some lower time frame TA on these altcoin charts, altcoin BTC pairs. when I do believe it is the time to start looking at when these could potentially bottom. But at this moment in time, it is very, very evident that JASMY is massively, massively underperforming against Bitcoin. I mean, if we take the last week alone and don't even look at how we've been doing from back here, you can see we're down 11% in the past week. If we simply go up to the last dead cat bounce, you can see it's down 69%. So in my opinion, there is no universe in which Bitcoin's going to go down 20% and JASMY's not going to go down at least 40-50% or so, because, you know, like, once again, Bitcoin is not done. I mean, it has done a pretty crazy move this week, but if we do start capitulating to 23, JASMY is going to get hit a lot harder than Bitcoin. So in my opinion, we need a lower price target. The next level I see right off the bat would be this 1.618 Fibonacci down here. So you can see from this previous low of the impulse at the bottom of the asymmetrical triangle all the way to the top of the asymmetrical triangle. This is beautiful. Fibonacci within a pattern. You can see the fib held pretty well. You know, we came down to the 618 once, got rejected from the 382, came down to the 618, got rejected from the 236, once again 618, rejection from the 0.5, breakdown, and we've been lollygagging at the 786. So in my opinion, this fib is definitely valid. Well, obviously it's valid, but what I mean is it's been respected to a high degree, and because of that, I see no problem in saying that JASMY is probably going to drop another 60% on the USD pair, representing a fall to 0.00, let's call it 0.004 cents. So 60% is where I kind of think that JASMY is going to be dropping down to. Bear in mind, we can drop in the short term to here, have a little bounce, and then come back down. Am I saying that because we might have a bounce here, this is the area to buy, this is where we should long? Am I saying that it's my prediction that we're going to have a bounce? Absolutely not. I'm saying this could be a possibility. What I'm predicting is that we're going to move down to these lower price targets. Now, I'm not interested in what happens in 4 hours. I'm not interested in what happens in two hours, you know, an hour, a day or two. I'm interested in these macro moves. So it does not matter to me if we do something like this and kind of chop around on a few price targets. I'm not really going to be interested in buying the dip and swing trading these to the upside. If anything, I'm much more focused on shorts at this moment in time. So that wraps up JASMY USD. Massive capitulation. Over on the squeeze one, we are heading down in favor of the bears. The volume is exponentially increasing. We've just broken down from this asymmetrical triangle. If we do extrapolate the price target of this, you can see this would be a drop down to about 0.0053, which would represent, from where we are now, a 47% drop. Very, very nasty stuff. Keep your eyes on this. Higher time frames, definitely nothing's changed. We're massively, massively capitulating. If we remove this, switch over to the Heikanashis, you can see we're massively, massively bleeding out. It's not looking good. I don't even need to do TA on this chart. I feel like it's very, very self-explanatory. A lot of people may be thinking we're coming down to a major area of support, and that is where we are going to start seeing a major bounce. I'm in complete disagreement if that is your opinion, or if people are saying that. Once again, I don't really watch crypto YouTubers, so I sometimes see thumbnails over on my YouTube of people still being bullish on altcoins and people saying Bitcoin $100 this week, next month, and it just kind of seems ridiculous to me. Bitcoin dominance is heading up on a massive rally. Do not expect altcoins to outperform Bitcoin while this is going up. With that being said, that is JASMY USD. We talked about JASMY BTC. I don't really necessarily have a price target for JASMY BTC. In my opinion, I just think we're going to much, much lower price targets. I mean, we can draw a micro fib, see what's going on from the last impulse. Down, this looks like a nasty drop. 60% against Bitcoin, so that could definitely come into fruition. So definitely keep your eyes on how JASMY is performing against Bitcoin. The reason we look at how JASMY is performing against Bitcoin is because if you're buying altcoins, doesn't matter if it's JASMY, Dogecoin, Ethereum, all of these different cryptos, if you're buying an altcoin, you're taking on tons of extra risk than if you just bought Bitcoin. So I understand why you do that. You want extra risk so you can reap extra reward. It's called risk to reward ratio. However, that only works if your altcoin is outperforming Bitcoin. If your altcoin's not outperforming Bitcoin, you're taking on 1, extra risk, and 2, you might as well have just bought Bitcoin because Bitcoin's outperforming the altcoin. So this is my opinion on the market right now. I think Bitcoin has lower to go down. I think the Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to head up. Pair those two things together, Bitcoin's going to outperform altcoins while it's moving to the downside. Because of that, a 60% drop is incoming for JASMY USD, in my opinion. JASMY BTC, like I said, down here to the 1.618, this could be approximately about 60% drop as well. So, you know, we might come down, you know, 70, we might come down 80% or so before we have a bounce. Bear in mind, I'm not saying that these are the areas to buy. Yes, I am saying I do believe we're going to have a bounce from this area. Am I going to be trading that bounce? Am I going to be buying the dip there? Am I going to be swing trading that to the upside? Absolutely not. I'm expecting lower price targets. I am absolutely not going to be buying altcoins until the Bitcoin dominance has its macro top. I think this is coming up to 60%. Buckle in. What you've been experiencing for the past couple of weeks represents a 16% increase in the Bitcoin dominance. We have another 24% to go, and that is a conservative target in my opinion. So if you think the altcoins have been getting battered the past month or so, buckle up. Bitcoin dominance is about to slap the altcoins in the face. So what I've got for you today. As always, hope you enjoyed the content. Cowboy out. Peace.